Hi, I'm Anthony from Freedom Factory, the builders of EthOS and the DGen 1. Today we talk with Craig from Hookt, the Tinder for prediction markets. This magical app brings a personalized prediction feed to your fingertips in the coolest crypto app design that I've ever seen. We walk through what it took to build and how prediction markets are shaping this part of the cycle. This is Apps Unchained. I always like to hear how people got into crypto. I think I got into crypto in like 2020, just before the last bull run, and caught sort of that wave and got with this project EthOS, like got started in early 2022 and sort of have built it up from there. But what's your story of getting into crypto?
Honestly, there's so many different factors that got me into crypto. I was very interested in trading before this, so I was always like trying to trade in the stock market options like well before people got into Robinhood and the whole GameStop run happened.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would say 2015. I was beginning of high school, even end of middle school, just trading random things, and then over
nice.
time I was interested in just exchanges. I heard you can trade crypto and forex on different platforms, so I ended up opening a Binance account. Um, and just traded Bitcoin and Ethereum only, and then Solana, which was still kind of considered like a meme coin at the time. Um, I was trading that a lot as well. And then I just picked up random memes and tried to, write out different charts and everything. So how I got into crypto is because I had a few friends at college that said, "Hey, I know someone who was interested in trading, but he also works in the crypto space." So I said, "Okay, I trade crypto, but I don't really know what crypto is." I had no idea what a blockchain was or anything like that. So yeah, did a lot
Yeah,
of research. Ended up meeting some people in the space in Nashville, and since then, that's kind of how I got more acclimatized into the building side and less about just the degen trading side. So
yeah, makes
yeah,
sense.
I have a knack for like building stuff. I like programming. I like just figuring things out, solving problems. So I had that kind of founder energy before this, but now I actually had a way to put it to use outside of
Same.
just chart go up. Yeah.
Definitely. I felt like I think I got like sparked by somebody talking about crypto on like the mainstream media, how it was only at 20,000 or 15,000 a coin and it could go up to 150K at some point. And I was like, Jesus, now seems like the time to enter. And I
Right.
got really lucky on that
Right.
front. Um, but as far as like Bracket, and I guess Bracket's a little different than Hooked. But Hooked to me doesn't seem like a crypto app first, right?
Right.
Hooked kind of just like a good UI, and then you have crypto in the back end. Is that something that you guys sort of focused on when creating the app?
Absolutely. That was one of the biggest things for me personally when building Hooked. So for those of you who don't know, like Bracket is a prediction market platform. We enable on-chain gaming, so we allow people to place predictions on any type of event, not just sports, but also elections, the weather, TV show outcomes, stuff like that. So as far as Hooked goes, we took the same ideology where we wanted people to be able to bet on, pretty much anything outside of um, the normal channels. But I realized that, our mission, the whole reason we went to mobile in the first place was to make it more accessible to everyone. And even though we are, crypto maxis and we love crypto, we love everything Web3, we have to realize that in part of the mission of bringing something to everyone, which who has a mobile phone for the most part, we also want to make sure that it was accessible to everyone. And as much as we don't want to admit it, as Web3 maxis, not everyone is quite there with the crypto thing yet. It's not where the world is yet. And mass adoption is something that I do think we are heading towards currently, but it's not something that we can um, necessarily just force on people. So we can try and speed up the process by creating something that is kind of hybrid, where if you are a Web3 user, you fully understand it, how to on ramp cash, off ramp cash, stuff like that. And to someone in Web2, they don't even know what on ramp or off ramp means. So we built out a system where users can use Apple Pay, Apple Pay or credit or debit card to on ramp cash. And we try to explain things as much as possible to make it accessible to the person who's never heard of Bitcoin in their life. Um, and, when they see base USDC wallet on their screen, it's kind of confusing. So we really try to explain that as much as possible. And I would say yes, it's absolutely one of the things we focused on when building Hooked. So
Definitely. That's part of like the mission of our device too, and where we started with EthOS, as you talked about with the mobile, so many people have mobile devices. Even it's even more prevalent than desktop around the world, right? And
Yeah,
so the opportunity is there to build those rails of crypto behind all the people that have these mobile devices. It's just like you're building, people don't know or even need to know in the future that crypto is behind half of this shit. Like, do they really need to figure out all the stuff that we've figured out in the past few years to
right.
like, do they have to go as deep into crypto? I don't think so. And that's sort of where we're trying to abstract away a lot of that infrastructure as well. One of the things that we're implementing recently is like even trying to get the chain abstracted sort of in the background, so you don't even have to know what chain you're on. If you want
Mhm.
to pay with an asset that you hold on Optimism, but you're interacting with an app on Base, you can do
Right.
that, and the bridging just happens in the background. So that's something we're thinking about as well. I think with Hooked, when I first saw it, when Arthur showed me, it was really sort of a blowing
Yeah.
moment where I was like, actually, like this is something that I could see myself using.
Right.
Um, Especially just because it's so much easier than trying to go log on to Polymarket or anything else,
Right.
like we just said. Um, so yeah, it's really exciting. Do you see that sort of as the evolution of this next wave, maybe the next cycle that takes us through as like, apps that sort of abstract away a lot of that back end
I
stuff?
think so. I think it's actually essential because to help engineer or to help orchestrate this whole push to mass adoption, there has to be people at the forefront of it. We can't just sit back and say, "Oh, Bitcoin's going up. I hope everyone starts buying it. I hope everyone starts learning about it." Right? We need to actually expose people to these products. So I do think that consumer apps that are actually useful and have useful data allow users or allow a large community to participate easily and seamlessly. Those are the apps that are going to be the ones that lead the charge to mass adoption. I think there's absolutely essential that people build in a space because otherwise you'll just be stuck with good ideas that never really get the recognition they deserve, and that can cause issues down the road.
Definitely. How did you guys get started with Hooked, and what was sort of the idea inspiration behind it?
I would think about that. I don't. I think it was just many different ideas. Like I remember I went to Nashville with one of my co-founders, and we were just just chatting about different ideas. Our entire team was there. It's like a team retreat kind of thing. The first time the entire team has been together in the same room, and we all just went I think to this cafe, and we just started spitting out ideas. And at the time our company was just Bracket, which is again the mobile prediction markets, and it was only tournament brackets, so you had to have like an even number of teams, like 2, 4, 8, 16, um, and that's all we could do. So we wanted to figure out a way to make it easier. And I think someone even made a comment about Tinder or Hinge, one of those apps. And I think over as the night progressed, like I think we just said, wait a second, we can do this. Wait, we can do that instead.
We're on to something.
Tinder and the bets, and yeah, I don't remember exactly how it went to be honest with you, but I think it was a lot of us just pitching in random things, and we just saw what stuck to the wall.
No, it's great. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Do you think? How do you think about the recent prediction market like surge in popularity with the elections and Polymarket and stuff? Do you think that sort of helps the direction you guys are going as well?
It definitely helped. Like, it's no coincidence that we started to really start pushing this and raising around the election season. It's kind of the initial interest back. Through all the research we've done and as a team, we've realized that elections are driving the vast majority of all volume for prediction markets. And I've always said that if you can bet on anything, and when elections are just one topic, like yes, it's a big topic, it's very important, but there are so many other things out there. I feel like there's such a missing market. There was such a missing market. So we made it our mission to prove that not only do we want to give people a platform to place predictions and have fun and be right and play a game, but also the data behind it is extremely important because we realized that a lot of the data we garner from, having multiple bets or, bets in the hundreds of thousands from a group of people can really help other people who might not be as knowledgeable about a topic or product to really make a better and more informed decision um, on either purchasing decisions or, where to live, just things like that. There's so many different directions this could take. Um, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Do you think what do you think is the blossoming market outside of of the elections and politics and stuff? Is there one that you see? Obviously, sports betting
Yeah.
is huge, but
Sports is a given. So it's a bit early to say just because we are in the midst of two of the largest sporting events in America, March Madness and the Super Bowl. So that is still going to capture the majority of attention. But outside of sports, I've been seeing a lot of betting in esports, and also
mm,
weather. Um, it's pretty interesting. People are just betting on temperature ranges. Like I thought, I remember wanting to make a market saying, "Will it snow on Christmas?" Fun things like that. And now people are getting up every single day and betting on like weather ranges, like 57 degrees to 45 degrees. Like if it goes over or under, I'm like, I mean, I'm happy for it, but
to
that's not
each
something
their own.
that people would be doing in the millions of dollars. I'm not talking about a few edge cases. I'm talking about like eight figures in volume daily across prediction markets on the weather.
It
Yeah,
was always a meme that people would just open up their weather app and just like watch the weather or the calculator app, I guess. But
yeah,
I never really thought that
yeah,
that
they
was a
are.
reality.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
So that's one thing I would
Um,
say a lot. And then also, I would say, what else has been getting like, a lot of attention? Anime. People love to bet on anime, not just outcomes, but also ratings. Like people see even Rotten Tomato scores of movies coming out, like some of the most hype movies coming out, and then critic scores. And I was like, wow, like people just really want to bet on things like that. They might watch a movie and say, okay, that movie is definitely terrible. No one's gonna Rotten Tomatoes won't go over 40% on this, and then they'll just place an over and under and say yes or no, swipe right or swipe left. And yeah, these are just things that I'm seeing. Data doesn't lie. I would never think of this on my own, but yep, there's interest
so,
there.
okay. If you're capturing all that data also on your app, does that mean that you're sort of learning what to serve people within Hooked? And like, are you doing the creation of all of these markets, or um, who's creating these markets?
Yeah, so we have a team. We are market researchers, and their sole job is to, first of all, look at our community channels. So, Twitter/X, Discord, Telegram, just see what people are looking for. As we get more users, we're going to be working more on our suggestion algorithm. So we have like an AI powered algorithm that we're still building currently, that will be able to, tailor markets to certain people. And then later on, we'll take it a step further and there'll be markets automatically created based on it might be browsing history, it might be things you search for. We're not, we haven't put too much time on that last thing just because, it kind of goes against the ethos of Web3. We still want people to know that, hey, this is what we're capturing. We don't want it to function just like a thing where we're just taking data and just like throwing it back in your face. So it's
Yeah,
always a back and forth. It's a double-edged sword we have to kind of watch the line with because, we don't want to just take data without letting our users know explicitly. So,
sure. Does that present any issue with like creating these markets? Like, as far as I know, when people are taking a certain side of a bet, more
mhm.
people pile in. Like, if you guys are creating all of the markets, um, I don't know. I guess I don't know too much about like the market creation of that side of things.
Mhm.
It just seems like if you're the ones creating the market, are there always people gonna that are gonna take both sides of it, or do you do like research beforehand to see where you'll have like sort of a certain outcome and how people will bet?
No, it's a great question. So, we've spent probably the most time tailoring the market creation process since the markets make or break the application.
Yeah,
So I have a lot of insight for that. First, I would say that we tell our market researchers to look at realistic values. So I'll use finance as an example, right? So we want to look at realistic values. Like, for example, there's a market made the other day where will Solana hit $400 a coin by tomorrow, right? Obviously, I mean, yes, there might be one person who bets on that to okay, they might just walk home with the entire pot. But given that Solana is right now at around $240, like probably not, right? Solana doesn't have a history of doubling overnight like a meme coin does, right? So
yeah.
we kind of have different parameters for different asset classes to see what's actually realistic. And a more recent example is that we have a market coming out, or it might be up already. Apple has their earnings report after market close on Thursday, so in 2 days' time, and we're going to have something that says, "Oh, will Apple sell more iPhones this year compared to last year, or this quarter compared to last quarter, at the same time last year?" So we have like a lot of research to be done to avoid situations where people will not take both sides of a bet. Now, in the event that it does happen, we have a mechanism where we can just refund everything, including the fees. So we don't even claim the fees on our market until way after the fact, just in case there might be a period of time where there might be a dispute, or just people don't agree with the outcome. They want to challenge something. So
Okay,
yeah,
makes sense. Um, I kind of wanted to get ask a couple questions towards like market liquidity a little bit as well, but this kind of goes in the direction of meme coins. I see like, a lot happening with meme coins. I saw a tweet yesterday, I think, of Brian Armstrong saying there's over 1 million meme coins being created every single day now.
right.
Like it seems like that's taking up some of the market liquidity, um, just from the market going into all of these new coins. And maybe that's the reason why we haven't seen this huge blast off in token prices yet. I
Mm.
don't directly know if that's impacting it or not, but like, do you think fragmenting across a whole bunch of betting markets has any impact on like liquidity? And like, there's just so many markets opening up, it seems like. Or maybe it's always been like people are going to spend their money on something, so it doesn't really impact it. Do you have an
Right.
idea on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a question I also get a lot. I would say that well, the first point you mentioned has little to no impact on our market. The first point being that there's so many different coins out there, millions of coins, there's money in many different places scattered. We offer an avenue where people can even hedge against their bets. So if they want to buy a meme coin and then they bet no, it will not go up or it'll get rugged or go to zero. Like if we have a market saying, well, this coin that just came out get rugged, right? And you bet yes on that. Um, in this period of time, then that is basically a hedge, and it might sound ridiculous, but so was weather betting to me and like anime critic scores. So there's different avenues. I actually find that the more liquidity there is scattered across different areas, that actually is bullish for us because that means that people are now interested in a variety of different sectors. A lot of these AI coins are coming out, and there's all celebrity coins coming out, and like Trump coin, Melania coin. Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And if that money all dries up and people realize that meme coins, the majority of them don't do a single thing besides provide a vehicle for people to gamble and win big, then it'll go somewhere. Either way, we still benefit because there's more talk and chatter around crypto, which fits that mass adoption narrative. You know,
Yeah,
and
makes
then
sense.
yeah, and then to your second point, liquidity concerns as far as our usership. How we combat that is the vast majority of our markets are you'll get them back within like 48 to 72 hours. That instant gratification is what people really need. The more markets we have that are up that last like 2 weeks to a month, like, will this happen, in a month? We might say, okay, will this happen in a week? Will this happen tomorrow? Right? Because people get to win quickly, get their money back, and then reinvest it or re-predict again and bet again. If you have like, let's say you load up $20 USDC and then you swipe 10 times at $2 a bet for all markets expire in a month. Now you're just swiping. Now you have to wait at least 29 days to
Yeah,
just see a turnaround. People don't like that. So that's how we kind of combat that issue where people don't always have the funds to bet on something they really believe in, you know.
I
So
guess that makes sense. I haven't really thought about it that way because, you know, it is still betting at the end of the day. It's not investing,
right.
right? It's like when you're investing in a token, you're investing in a stock, you might be wanting to hold it long term, see what the outcome is after it hits one of your targets or whatever. But like a bet, you know, if you're betting on something like sports, for example, you'll know the outcome at the end of the game,
Right.
and you'll get your money or you won't get your money. But
Right.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. It's
So,
very like it's binary. But I wouldn't go as far to say it's not investing. Like yeah, of course betting on a sports match. The argument could be made it's investing, but all of semantic aside, it's not. It is straight betting. Yes. However, I will say that there are other cases where you kind of use hooked as a derivative of a derivative, right? So it's like a double derivative where you can be betting on the future prices of a futures contract or something else, right? Um, that in itself could be a way to hedge or just gain more exposure through a different avenue or just more easily, right? Like, why would someone want to spend, 30 minutes signing up for an exchange when they can just sign up in, 45 seconds and just get to, yes, it might be a smaller bet, but, at least you have a little bit of exposure. And let's say that you didn't know as much about the topic that you're betting on as you thought you did. Now you're not putting all your information at risk and like, leverage and trying to explain cross versus isolated margin to someone who's not really in crypto versus swipe
Yeah,
right or swipe left for yes or no. Simplifying it really helps to combat that.
makes sense. Something that popped in my head was sort of like it seems these betting markets, all these different markets now seem like the start of the financialization of everything.
Mhm.
Um, like you can bet on the weather, you can bet on whatever market that you can actually dream up. And I know some people sort of had a fear that like crypto already was doing that, was sort of financializing everything. I'm not really. I think it's fun. People are allowed to spend their money however they want.
Yeah,
But I see your app also as sort of like forwarding um, that sentiment a little bit.
yeah,
Is like,
absolutely.
go ahead.
I mean, I would argue that, outside of, I mean, personally, outside of, family and personal relationships and friends, pretty much everything is financialized in some capacity. This is just shining a light on it, right? And if humanity truly isn't like that, then this app would not be successful.
Yeah,
So that's kind of how I see it. People are free to spend the money however they see fit. I'm not, encouraging people to go financialize everything, right? But if you feel so strongly about something that you would put even a little bit of money on it, then it must mean that you stand to benefit all the time, or you want to stand to benefit all the time financially from anything. So I think that
yeah.
speaks
I'm
more to
not
humanity and less about the product.
for sure.
Yeah,
No, I mean, like, I don't, I'm not against it either. I think, like, you're just making it easy for people to do these things. And if you do have an algorithm behind it that, like, learns about, like, what you actually want to bet on,
right.
it just makes sense. You're making it accessible for people. Like, people probably do want to, like, they would want to bet on things if they knew how to do it. A lot of times they just don't have the energy or like the want to do it necessarily to go through that whole process like you were talking about. If there was like I said it to Arthur too, like if there was a way for me to bet on some things and I had this app, like that would just make it so much easier if
Yeah,
it knew like what I wanted to do. Um, Otherwise, yeah, I just don't have the interest as much, but I think it's a good
yeah.
thing.
Absolutely. Also, not everyone wants to be betting all the time, like just, I mean, on the
Yeah,
contrary, outside of financializing everything, not everyone wants to bet. I'm a very data-driven person, and I feel like this app success will be largely in the data and not just people swiping every day. Because if you look at all these prediction markets, social media accounts, they're not really talking about anyone's gains. Like very, very few posts are about the gains. They're all talking about the data. This is what prediction traders are saying, right? There's a new market that comes up. There's a chance that this happen, or Trump signs this order, or anything of the
right.
sort. I think it's really about giving more access to information and less about just how many people want to profit and just stay on your platform all day. Like that wasn't the goal behind it. Like there are people who like to participate in gambling by nature, but I feel like many more people who don't fit that demographic stand to benefit from the information, and that was only possible if we have millions of users every day interacting with their product.
Definitely makes sense. Do you have any take on sort of the meme coin craze that's going on? Because on that side, that sort of just seems like a straight gambling also.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of this whole meme coin phase. I mean, many people are. Like, I've bought meme coins before. I've made good money off meme coins. I'm not saying they shouldn't exist because they benefited me directly, but I think they're dangerous, and it's kind of scary to see how many people are kind of dumping like large sums of money, like even their life savings, just to buy something because everyone else is doing it. It reminds me a lot like GameStop, a lot of the GameStop crisis that happened
Yeah.
in 2021 and 2020. People just said this is going to keep going up, and there's people who are borrowing money and like taking out ridiculous loans just to buy GameStop. When I don't want to say obviously the top, but like it was
You
just
missed the pump.
yeah, but no one knows what that means, especially someone who's not in the crypto space. See, this doesn't surprise me because we've seen this before, as people in Web3, but there are millions of people who have seen this for the first time. Like Trump coin was
Yeah.
like, wait a second, what's Trump coin? I had yeah, one of my older grand uncles was like, hey, what's Trump coin? Like, how do you buy this? I'm like, stop. No. Like that's how you need to stop. Like
Top
just
signal.
yes, exactly. That's a top signal. Like if people just start asking you about yeah, people who have no exposure to the industry whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like I think he got his first phone like 4 years ago. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's very dangerous, and I think it's just there's a finite amount of money in the world. It's going to be a liquidity shift. Like the money's going somewhere. It might be going into less, like less people's pockets. Like people just have more in general. Sorry, let me rephrase that. A smaller amount of higher net worth individuals will be accumulating all those profits, and I feel like most people will be left with nothing if they continue to participate in this gambling that they know absolutely nothing about. I would say
Yeah.
only 1% of meme coin traders are actually even know what the word liquidity means, what total value locked, what that means, right? They don't know, they don't care, they just want to buy and sell at a profit, you
And
know.
those are the same 1% that are making all the money anyways,
Yep, exactly.
because they see the flows. Yeah. It reminds me of like sort of the market maker um, business in the stock market too, like they just take fees off of trades that are happening by making markets, but it doesn't matter whether the price is going up or down. Like they
Yep,
still
it
make
doesn't
money.
matter, yeah, exactly.
They
Um,
encourage trading.
yep. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
uh,
volume is gonna be king for all these platforms.
definitely. I did want to ask also, you said you guys are built on base, right? And we've
Yes.
sort of leaned in on base as well. They've had a really cool community and a lot of support for the projects there, low fees as well. Um, how do you think about that ecosystem and like building for the people there?
Yeah, I mean, I love bass. I've been in a few of their builders chats. I feel like, it matches up with what you say. Like they always encourage, they love to provide a lot of support for new products. I feel like the guys at the BD team especially are very responsive, very engaged with the community. They know they're up against Solana with all the meme coin craze. Like a base meme coin is kind of a meme compared to a Solana meme coin, even though they're both
Okay.
memes. But yeah, I feel like Base in particular really does care about their founders and cares about like the people that build with them. And I really think they're going to do extremely well in 2025. I know they did a lot of marketing towards the second half of 2024, but I know they're pushing it a lot. And, you know, people are sending USDC on base a lot more often as well. So that might be bullish. People are saying, can you send base instead? People who were not encrypted before and they just knew what USDT was for the exchanges and USDC on Ethereum. Um, but yeah, I like the ecosystem a lot and it's great.
Same. I feel like they're starting to gain that network effect of like the more people that come on, the more users you get, the more
Right.
people just default to base. Like we have base natively integrated into our device as well. So
Okay.
and we're hoping that like they'll be able to support us and like get people started with some gas fees, or we can integrate like their gasless transactions and stuff. I think it makes a lot more sense, obviously, to scale that way, just because,
Mm.
we used to have an app on our ethos device that was like take a picture with the camera, mint it straight away. Like you can just take a picture, press the mint button, mint it to on-chain,
Oh,
which is
that's
very
super cool.
which is cool,
Yeah.
except it was only on mainnet for a while, and I was spending $10 to mint an NFT photo for like a test. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I see.
okay, we
Yeah.
need to like this doesn't scale, obviously.
Right.
Um, so base is that really cool way of making things scale. Um, I'm stoked for it as well. I guess I wanted to give you one last chance here. I guess we can wrap up soon. Of like any updates coming to Hooked or like future plans, roadmap stuff that you want to shout out.
Yeah. We have our NFT, the Cat Society, the Black Cat Society is launching pretty soon. We're going to be doing it with the Movement Network mainnet as well. Um, and that'll be sometime in February. So I think that, you know, once people are able to mint the NFT, there'll be a few benefits. I can't go into the specifics yet because we haven't fully fleshed out everything. I don't want to make early promises, but there'll be definitely benefits for people on Hook to do hold that NFT. So that's going to be some alpha coming up. But as far as more general updates, we have our leaderboard like fully integrated now, so you can actually see any events that we have. Like we have one up right now to give a big onboarding event to Hooked, where people are able to earn tokens and some USDC as well. But outside of that, we're going to be launching a Super Bowl event either today or tomorrow, and you'll be able to see a leaderboard in any market leading up to the Super Bowl. And then obviously we're going to have the big market saying, "Hey, which team's going to win?" We're just gonna, yeah, it'll be pretty cool. I like how it looks. We have a P&L chart. It looks beautiful. You can see the hockey stick graph or not, depending on how well you've been doing with the betting. And yeah, we have our explore page. You can search for users. The following function now works. You can see other users' bets if you want, if they choose to share them. And win rates are fully live. Things have been fixed. There's been a lot of bugs, but we've pretty much revamped everything. And now we're working on dark mode, which has been their most requested feature since day one. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
That's great. Sweet, man. Well, thanks for coming on. Great
yeah, of course.
conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, thanks.